Hi, this is Kylie Valley reporting for the Lobby Observer. Today, we're going to be interviewing Corina Gencarelli, a Westboro High School alumni from the class of 2020. I'm going to be sending it off to Caitlin Tarzia, a senior here at Westboro High School, who's interviewing her.
Hi, this is Caitlin reporting for the Lobby Observer, and I'm here with a Westboro High School alumni. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Corina Gencarelli. I was also part of the Lobby Observer, and I'm so excited to be back.
Thank you for joining me today. We're super excited to hear about how college has been, especially during the pandemic. So, where do you go to college?
I go to college at the University of Rhode Island.
And what's your major?
I'm a marketing major right now, and then I'm thinking of minoring in Italian.
That's awesome. Do you like it so far?
Yeah, I definitely do. I mean, it's been weird this semester just because classes are like in person, some are online. So it's definitely been a big change to get used to that part. Luckily, I was able to get a good amount of in-person classes. So I'd like to have that just because the online classes do not work. But
Yeah.
it's been fun overall. It's kind of sucky just because like the potential, like things have and how much you could be doing, but it honestly hasn't been too bad. I've enjoyed everything so far.
That's amazing. So you kind of already started talking about this, but how is it different at college with the coronavirus?
Well, the biggest thing is just having to wear a mask everywhere. I know they're really strict with that, so you're supposed to wear a mask basically everywhere except for inside your dorm room. I know for a lot of the dorms, there's usually like 3 people in each dorm, so a lot of the freshmen live in triples. But this semester and last semester, everyone's in doubles or singles. This semester, I do have a roommate, and I still do, so that's been fun, just getting used to living with someone else. But I have to say, just the biggest thing is you're really not allowed anyone besides your roommate in your room. And then a lot of like the food places aren't open just because of capacity issues, and they can't hold everyone. But everything's still like most classes are online, but there still are a few in person. But by next semester, so next fall, they're talking about having everything in person again, so that's definitely something to look forward to.
Yeah, that's super exciting. So you mentioned this a little when we were talking before, but how have you experienced COVID at college? Like, have your roommates ever gotten it?
So I actually had COVID. I don't remember the exact date. It was in the end of February. I got out of quarantine a month ago on March 1st, but yeah, that was tough, I have to say. I remember I thought it was just a cold. I didn't really even feel that sick. And I had gotten tested that Tuesday of the week because I have to get tested every week since I'm a part of Greek life. So
Mhm.
I got tested that Tuesday. I was negative, and then by Wednesday, Thursday, I kind of felt like I had a cold. And then Thursday night, I realized I didn't have any smell or taste. So Friday morning, I had to call health services and get tested, and the result came back positive, which was really disappointing. But my roommate also had to get tested as well, and she came out positive. So luckily, we were able to room together. We were able to stay in dorms on campus, but we chose to stay in the hotel down the road. It was a brand new hotel, just open, beautiful hotel. We had huge room. So I was able to stay with her. So that was, as much as we both were really sick and it really sucked, it was nice to be in the hotel. So my other friends, they had to also quarantine in separate hotels just because we are all together. So yeah, that was definitely a big thing. It was tough to handle school with that, but thankfully it's over. I still haven't gotten my taste or smell yet. So we're still waiting for that.
Gosh.
Over a month, but yeah, what can you do?
Oh my gosh, I've seen some TikToks about people trying different recipes to try to get their taste back. Have you tried anything like that?
Yeah, I just saw this one TikTok where you have to like flick the back of your head or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, we have like the peppermint essential oils, so I've been sniffing that. Zinc pills because that's supposed to help get your taste back, but those make me nauseous, so that hasn't really been working. But don't know what else to do. It's just kind of waiting. I mean, it comes back like in little increments kind of, so sometimes I can taste things, but it's very like it's a really slight taste, like and then other times and most of the time I just can't smell or taste a thing. It's just nothing. But
Wow.
it comes back.
That's really
Yeah.
sad. Well, I hope it comes back soon. So, how was it like when you were in quarantine with your friends and you had to do school and you were like away from your family? Was it
Um,
hard?
yeah, it was definitely really tough. I mean, I think the biggest thing was I think it definitely would have been a lot harder if I was alone the whole time because their protocol is to have everyone in the hotel, even if you're not, even if you're negative, and you were with the person who was positive, you still have to be in the hotel for 10 days. So I'm really thankful that I was with my roommate just because I would not like being alone, especially with COVID. But the biggest thing was just trying to stay on top of like my assignments in school, just because a lot of the classes are online. So
Yeah.
it's not like I'm missing going to the in-person class. So I still technically have to do the work. So it was definitely hard just because like your emotions were everywhere. Like just for me personally, like my emotions were everywhere. It was really hard for me to focus and just do a task, like every little thing, even just like getting up and like walking around the room. It was just so like hard to do everything basically. So it definitely was rough just trying to keep up with exams. But I mean, I'm happy that I'm out now so I can really focus in
Yeah.
on, but it definitely was different and just it's tough just because you already feel crappy and then doing school on top of that isn't the best. But
Yeah, I can imagine. So, looking back on your time at Westboro, do you miss anything about high school?
definitely one of the things I miss is just how I guess like I'm trying to think of the word, like just how accommodating the teachers are kind of like in
Mhm.
high school. I remember just if you ever have like a problem like getting an assignment done, like most teachers, if you email them, they'll be more than like okay with just letting you submit it late or doing this. But now in college, it's a lot of the classes you're with like a lot more kids. So a lot of my classes have like 100+ kids,
Yeah,
especially with the online ones now. So with the online ones, it's harder to reach out to a teacher to be like, hey, like I have A, B, and C going on, can I have an extension, just because they have everything has a due date. And so it's different now because their expectations are a lot higher. They're like, no, you need to schedule your own time to do these. There's not really, they're not as lenient, I have to say. And then with like exams and stuff, my problem's been like, say like I get a problem wrong, it's harder to get that meeting with the teacher to discuss like what went wrong. Like I know in high school you see these teachers every day, and you can just easily go up to their desk and be like, hey, can I like discuss this or discuss that? But with these professors now, you have to schedule the office hours, a time they're free and you're free. And then obviously with the online, that's also another tougher thing that makes it even more harder. But it's definitely a difference in just how you communicate with your teachers, because they're not going to be the ones to always check in on you, to check in if you have an assignment. It's kind of just on you. So it's definitely a big step with being more independent and staying on top of your stuff.
yeah, I can't even imagine. Are you in Zoom calls with like 100+ kids?
I mean, a lot of so some of my bigger classes, so my economics class, that class is asynchronous, so it's kind of just like online work modules kind of. So there's videos we have to watch, and then all the discussion posts we do. And then I know I have my Italian class that's over Zoom. So with that class, definitely learning a language, it's funny over Zoom. It seems like it's a kindergarten class because we're all sitting there saying the same things at the same time. But a lot of it hasn't been tough with the Zoom, just because a lot of the times when it is the bigger classes, it's just the professor lecturing and you're just taking notes like you would in person. But I definitely prefer the in person. So I'm excited for next semester for that to happen.
Yeah, definitely. I hope that it gets back to in person as soon as possible. So do you have any favorite memories from Westboro that you'd like to share?
Favorite memories. Definitely some of my memories were, playing sports, definitely with field hockey. That was a big thing that I
Yes.
miss so much.
Yeah.
I was gonna join the club team here, but we're not gonna have any season just because of COVID. But
Yeah.
definitely having that like fun little activity to do every day after school, because now it's just I feel like it's hard to find things. As much as there are so many things to do here, it's also hard to find things to do just because a lot of things that would be going on there, either not happening or they're closed because of COVID. But
Yeah.
it's definitely nice just having there's a ton of clubs and Greek life as well. That's been fun and keeping me busy, but I definitely miss having, sports and just
Yeah.
having to do it after school every day, with the whole team and everything.
Yeah, we missed you a lot. It was definitely an interesting season just because of COVID. Like, it was so different. Only 6 people were allowed to play at a time,
No,
if you can imagine.
it's been really tough. Gosh.
It was fine. I mean, we all made it. So, luckily, it just didn't get canceled. I think we're all just grateful that we got a season. So do you have any recommendations for any high school students right now, either going to college or, like, underclassmen?
I mean, yeah, but definitely my biggest thing is not to stress or worry too much about it just because there's so much unknown. I definitely was really stressed out about the whole moving in process and getting used to college, but there's just you don't realize it, but there's so many other kids like in your same boat that are, stressed out, anxious, like worried about moving to a new place, moving away from home, but you find so many people that are in the same boat as you, and especially with COVID, like everything is different. Like as much as it's different coming to a college and college life, all of that, and that's a big transition. Doing that with COVID too is even so much more of a change. So my biggest advice is not to get hard on yourself with like this transitioning process, and that everyone's going through the same thing. And you will find people that are just as confused or as lost as you, and just definitely like seek out those people when you can, and try to make the friendships with the chances you get, just because it's been kind of tough with that, just because you don't really see as many people as you would be. But definitely take advantage of those things and not to be too hard on yourself with the whole transitioning process, because it's different for everyone.
Yeah, I know a lot of people and like the seniors in class of 2021 are a little nervous, like just about committing and what that means and going into college during the pandemic. So, yeah,
No,
that's
it's definitely,
good to hear.
but it's not something to be worried about, just because it's so many things can change so quickly, and we saw that with the last few years. So definitely just take it with an open mind, and try to have a positive mindset about it, rather than being scared or nervous about it, just because it can change like that, like everything we saw, like everything changed like that. And so just to just keep an open mind about it and be ready for whatever happens.
That's awesome response. So, from your time in the Labio, did you take anything that you learned from journalism in high school with you to college?
So one of my biggest things, and I was actually talking about this the other day, is how much, and you probably hear this from a lot of people too. I remember in journalism, all of the alum that came back, they would always say Westboro really does prepare you for college. And I have found that as well. Definitely with a lot of my classes first semester, a lot of my classes were the gen ed. So one of my classes was a communications 100 class. So that was literally exactly what we did in journalism class. So you can imagine how easy that was for me, with the speeches or doing interviews. Definitely that had helped me with that class in particular. But also with just like how I don't know, kind of how Westboro prepares you just in the ways of studying. I find it that I'm able to study for like all these big multiple exams at once, and I'm able to, split up, I study for this, and the organizational skills that I got from Westboro, I think, and just that preparedness with some of the classes. Because I know sometimes, some of the English classes I remember being super hard or having to write all these huge essays, but it really does help because, with college, you have so many different assignments for so many different classes. And a lot of the time it does get overwhelming, but having that, background from Westboro of having to already like juggle a couple of things, with sports and then all your classes. I definitely think that has helped me in staying organized and on top of my schoolwork.
Definitely. And then when you come back from college, like on your breaks, what is your favorite thing to do when you're back in Westboro?
That's a good question. I wasn't even thinking of that. Favorite thing to do. I would honestly say I love just being home with my dog and spending time with him.
Yeah.
I him for walks around town. And I know he likes to go for rides too. I definitely like doing that. And then also going to some of the old food places I would go to because, college food isn't the best food. It's kind of hard to find those good options that you enjoy. So definitely going back to all the restaurants, Chick-fil-A, all the restaurants in Westboro that everyone knows and loves. But yeah.
Yeah. And is there anything else that you'd like to share?
I mean, just to like take the process as it comes. Don't be afraid of it. Everyone's going through so many changes, and you'll find thousands of people around you that feel the same way. And, definitely take this experience with like a positive mindset. And I know it'll work out for everyone.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for talking to me. This is Caitlin Tarzia for the Lobby Observer.
Thanks, Corina. It's great to hear how the WHS alumni are doing now. That's all for this broadcast. This is Kylie Valley signing off for the Lobby O.